Rightio, it looks like we're live. Let me know if you can hear me in the YouTube chat. Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new series, SimRacingOnline TC Legends, the good, the bad and the ugly, and this is round one from Bikernieki, which is a Finnish circuit, I think, that not many people know of. I'm just going to search that up because I don't want to offend anyone if I've got the country wrong, but yeah, it looks to be a pretty fast one. It is... oh, is it Latvian? Okay, sorry, I really should have researched this before. Bikernieki circuit, Latvia. Okay, my apologies. So we are in Latvia at the Bikernieki circuit, and we're currently in practice, qualifying for the actual race. Hello to everyone joining us in the YouTube chat. Everyday Gamer says hi, good to see you here, thanks for dropping in, and Lewis Middleton says hi as well. Let's see if we can go and find a car to spectate. We have luckily a... oh, that didn't work, did it? Okay, I think we're gonna have to wait for one to pop up onto the actual board. But yeah, we have a wealth of interesting cars on display here. It's one of the most varied series that I will ever have covered. You see the little Mini Cooper there in the pit. That's not actually being used today. That is simply the car that I have used to actually get into the server in the first place. Interesting to see that no times are popping up on the tower yet. Sorry about that. As soon as they do, I promise I will switch to a car. Okay, let's try this again. Let's go to Kirilov. He has a Porsche 911. Also hi to Mike458 in the YouTube chat, who I know is a massive fan of Porsches and will probably be cheering on the 911s today. But yeah, we have so many incredible cars. Do we have any? Yes, we do have. Okay, so here you see Phil Brown, currently top of the times in his MGB GT. Lovely old British car. You can almost see the mustache on the front of it there, as it flicks into the high-speed sweepers. John van der Geest. Oh, this livery is amazing. Let me show you this from a better camera view. You see here, it is a very beaten up and rusty old Ford Escort, number 69 on the side. And look at that, it's even got a replaced door on this side here. That is how you do classic touring car racing. Absolutely fantastic looking vehicle. Not sure I'd want to race it in real life. Kind of looks like it's about to fall apart, but I suppose that was the aesthetic he was going for. Here you see one of the Porsche 911, specifically the Porsche 911 RS from the 70s. Glyn Jones has a bright yellow and black Bumblebee-like car, and Kirill Kirilov is also in a Porsche. Mihal Masharek here has an Alpha GTA. The Alpha GTA, probably, I was expecting to be one of the most popular cars of the league. Very, very iconic, very fast, and I certainly wouldn't count this out for some good results in this series. Let's keep going down because we do have some more cars. Lorenzo Galuzzi has one of the very small Toyota 2000 GTs. I've always called these cars the silverfish cars because they just remind me of little silverfish that you sometimes see running around. There you see one of the Renault Alpines, the A110s that we just passed. Big slide from Galuzzi there. That's brilliant driving. Right, who else have we got? Shaba Lako has a Ford Escort. Now you can't get much more 1970s than a Ford Escort. And Shaba Lako up into 10th position in the qualifying session so far. BMW 2002. Not made in 2002, confusingly, but yeah, all of these cars are from the 60s or 70s era of racing, as Tony Talviti goes to the top of the times in the Porsche. A couple more cars still we haven't seen yet. Here's a close-up of the Renault A110, or the Alpine A110, as I should be calling it. Currently not on a lap time, and the huge Ford Fairlane. Look at that. That is an absolutely massive car, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is the biggest car. Actually, I'm just gonna search it. Is that a Ford Fairlane? Because it looks. I don't want to have got any of these wrong. Yes, that's definitely a Ford Fairlane. Don't know why I doubted myself there, but yeah, absolutely humongous car. I can imagine plenty of big boy memes being made about this, since we don't have any of the big BMWs. But anyway, Bill Grewcock has a Ford Mustang. Still a big Ford, but it's smaller, slightly smaller than the Fairlane. And there's another... Oh, and look at this! A Hillman Imp! You don't see many of these nowadays, except for maybe in classic time trials or whatever. Fantastic car the Hillman Imp was. The road-going version was famous for being one of the last road cars ever made to have positive cambered wheels, so wheels that leant outwards at the top rather than outwards at the bottom. You can see they haven't quite gone for the same... Actually, I think it might have a bit of positive camber there. Yeah, just about. That's interesting. But anyway, there you have Jari Lakkinen in the Hillman Imp. Anyway, back to the qualifying session. Glyn Jones has gone to the top of the time. Clearly the Porsche is looking very quick in this qualifying session, but I am wondering whether they might guzzle up a bit more fuel than the drivers will like later on. Someone's just jumped up to 5th place, and it is Lauren Luns. So Luns going up to 5th in the BMW 2002. And turning into the opening. Actually, let's see if we can find someone starting a lap and show you around the Latvian Bikernieki circuit. Okay, John Van der Geest is about to start a lap in his very beaten up old Ford Escort. Look at the back seats! Oh my goodness! Okay, I love this thing. Anyway, onto a lap he goes through a fast right-hander before braking into an even tighter right-hander. This is known as Kunos, looking at the track map. My apologies if I pronounced that wrong. And then you flick out towards some sweepers. And the next hard left-hander will be known as tilts. The wall comes out to meet you on the left-hand side there, but there's tilts over a crest of the hill as well, so you need to be careful not to let your car slide out too wide on the exit. The next corner is a right-hander, and it's Slim Naker. My apologies if I'm getting any of these wrong. I am not Latvian. Down another straight. Looks slightly downhill here towards one of the toughest corners on the track, I can imagine. That's one of those corners that always looks wider than it is, but you have to get the car turned in. That's known as Kino Studia, I think. And then the left-hander at Mutter Musee. And then Smilsu Kalns flicks you down towards the final corner at Sailor. And it looks as if Van der Geest may have just been backing off there, potentially. But anyway, that is a lap of the Bikernieki circuit in Latvia aboard a wonderful looking Ford Escort Cosworth. So, who can improve on their laps? Currently, is that Porsche's 1, 2, 3? Yes, it is. So we got Porsche's 1, 2, 3 here, with Jones, Kirilov, and Talviti. Kirilov there just ahead of the MGB GT there. Can't quite remember who's driving that off the top of my head. But looking at the times, we actually have 25 drivers here. 25 cars out on track. That is a great tally. So there may even be cars that I haven't seen yet. There's Andy Yates in the Scottish flag adorned Renault. Now what can Kirilov do about Jones's lap times? The two leaders are separated by less than 1/10 of a second at the minute. Up into 8th place goes Stefan Logodin, and that is a car that I don't think I mentioned yet. That is a Mazda RX-3. So we have a Mazda RX-3, which is very different from the later RX models. Quite a tall car, quite top heavy. I can imagine it being popular for rallying, but I'm not sure about circuit racing. So we'll see how that goes. Currently running in 8th position. Here's Kirilov about to complete the lap I was talking about, and Talviti's gone to provisional pole. Can Kirilov do anything about it? Not on that lap. But Talviti does go provisional pole. John van der Geest now jumps up into 4th place in the beaten up, rusty old Ford Escort. Everyday Gamer just messaged me on Discord and said that rusty Ford is my favourite car now. That's great. To be honest, it's probably my favourite car in the field as well, because you can tell the livery designer was creative. But anyway, yeah, I definitely have a soft spot for that Ford. Let me put it that way. Is that a car we haven't seen yet going past? I don't actually know who that is. Yeah, that looks... Well, we got a blue car just ahead of this Porsche of Glyn Jones. How do I switch to it? I'm not actually sure. Ah! Sorry, that was a weird noise I just made. I do not... Okay, there we go. Sorry, just trying to figure out how I can actually figure out, like, what car that is. I presume it's one of the cars... Oh, as Yates has just had a little off. Oh. Ah, sorry, I'm clicking all the wrong buttons today. Oh, look at that! Massive Mercedes! Kimi Martikainen. That is an AMG 300 SEL that Kimi Martikainen has here. I knew I hadn't seen some cars yet. And that is absolutely humongous there, the number 11. Can't wait to see that on the road. Very long as well, probably the longest car that we have in this race. Still trying to figure out... Actually, let me go into this view quickly. My apologies for the slight unprofessionalism, so we can see... Ah, it's a Datsun 510. I knew there was a car we hadn't seen yet. This is Sid Drake in the Datsun 510. Number 42. I've actually raced one of these cars. Actually, did I? No, I was going to race it, but I had to pull out of that league. But yeah, I've driven them. We also have a Ford Cortina. That is Jose Branco in the Ford Cortina, who doesn't appear to have set a competitive lap yet. Anyway, let's get back to the proper view quickly. The TV cameras, if you will. And have a look at the Porsches currently battling it out for pole. Talviti versus Jones, less than a tenth of a second between them, and Kirilov not far back either. Anstey's just jumped up into the top 10 in the Toyota. Hello as well to Simu Tuninen in the chat, who says Lakanen IMPP. Lakanen. He has a Ford Escort, so I'm not entirely sure what IMPP means, but never mind. Kai Sivertson up into 12th position there. And a big slide for Glyn Jones as he tries to rag his car to a faster lap. Glyn Jones towards the end of the lap, over the curbs. Shame we can't see sector times. I can see that Talviti there is not going any faster, and Kirilov's now back to the pits, so Kirilov and Van der Geest won't be improving. Laurent Lons might launch a surprise at the end of the session, to be honest. Lons is looking fairly quick here. And Jones pulls into the pits, so no faster laps for Jones. Talviti doesn't look to be improving. What about Laurent Lons? Can't see his sector times. Jumping up to 9th place goes Mark Jonzer in a Porsche. Haven't seen much of him today, but that is a relatively good lap from him. Now I wonder if Lance has what it takes to score pole here, because we've seen that Lance has been very fast in other leagues, using all of the curbs there in the sweepers. And we are now in overtime. The checkered flag is well and truly out for this qualifying session. So this is his last opportunity. Final corner for Lance. Does he dive into the pit, or is he going for a faster lap? He's going for an improvement. Crosses the line, and it's not an improvement for Laurent Lons, so he stays in 5th position. Stefan Lagodin has just gone 8th in the Mazda RX-3. Don't think Kimi Martikainen's on a lap, but let's just have a look at the sheer size of that Mercedes. Very long. I can imagine he's going to have to be... Whoa, as he gets over the grass, and he's going to spin that, isn't he? That's an expensive crash there. Or at least it would be in real life. Keeps it going, but he won't be improving on his lap. But anyway, he's got a lot of overhang there, both the front and the rear, so he's going to have to be careful that he knows where the front and rear of his car actually are, especially the rear there, when he's in traffic. to be honest, if I was racing in this league, I would probably want a Porsche because they seem to be the fastest cars on offer so far. But if not, I'd probably take that massive Mercedes because I can imagine it's just so much fun to hurl around. But anyway, that is the qualifying session done, and it is Tony Talviti on pole position, leading a Porsche 1-2-3 ahead of Glenn Jones and Kirilov. John Van Geest is the top non Porsche in his Escort RS1 600. Then we have Laurent Lund's BMW 200T. Phil Brown will be 6th, followed by Lorenzo Galuzzi, Stefan Lagodin, Mark Jonzo, Shaba Lacko. And then just outside of the top 10, Paul Anstey in the Toyota, Kai Sivertsen, Kimi Martikainen in the huge Mercedes, Michal Majerek. Not used to seeing Majerek that far down the field. Maybe the Alpha's struggling. I suppose we'll find out. Paul Upham, Mariusz Laboida, Andy Yates, Cheetah Morris, Bill Grukok, Jari Lakkinen in that Hellman Imp, Zach Bremner, massive Ford Fairlane, looking a little bit off the pace, no disrespect to him or the Ford, Christian Darga, Sid Drake, Klaus Jorgensen, and then rounding up the field with no competitive qualifying lap will be Jose Branco if he decides to start. But we'll have 24 cars at the minimum, it seems, with Klaus Jorgensen possibly rounding out the field unless Jose Branco decides to start. I am surprised actually that no one's gone for the Mini Cooper here. I'm not sure if it was an actual option. I know that I was told to take one into the server so that I could commentate, but of course that means that it's not going to end up racing. Yeah, I'm surprised no one went for the Cooper because well, this thing corners like a go-kart, very short wheelbase, which is what you're going to want for some of the rounds on this calendar. Talking of the rounds, as we get ready to go racing, it's going to be Bikernieki here in Latvia, followed by Interlagos in Brazil, the old 75 layout of Interlagos, which of course includes all of the extra twiddly bits that you don't have today. Then we have the 72 version of Monaco, that's it, Monaco, the Grand Prix circuit, followed by Mexico, the circuit that's now known as Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, but of course an earlier version of that as well. Willow Springs will be round 5. And then we will end the series at Tor Poznan in Poland, which is a very, very fast circuit, and that should be an exciting way to end the league. But anyway, we start here at Bikernieki. The lights are about to go off, and when they do, I will be able to talk you through the race. So, remember, we've got Porsches 1, 2, 3. Let's watch them as the lights go out. Go! Away we go! The race has begun and the series has begun as well, and we will soon see all the cars go flying past the end of the pit lane there. Looks all clean at the minute because they haven't reached the first corner yet. My apologies that okay, there we go. Now we've joined the pack, and as we head down into the first corner, Talviti leads from Jones. Jones going around the outside of Kirilov and making it stick. Nicely done. We've got a car off on the inside. I think that was a Toyota. And the rest of the pack stream through. The Imp gets sideways, the Cortina gets sideways. Good to see the Cortina started the race though. And everyone continuing on their way. So, an exciting field of cars streaming through. The Mazda Lagodin going bouncing over the grass there in the mid-pack, but keeping it under control. Anstey passing Upham, Lakkinen now up into the top 10. And look at that, the massive Mercedes Martikainen up into the top 10 as well. The three Porsches appear to be getting away slightly at the front. Couple more Porsches trying to get through. Remember, who's that who also has a Porsche? It is Mark Jonzo, currently running in 7th position. Look at the body roll on the cars as they go through the sweepers. Of course, the cars weren't exactly the stablest back in those days. They had a long way to go in terms of suspension and anti-roll bars and stuff like that. but it just made it all the more exciting to look at. End of the first lap now, and we've got side by side for 4th place, I think. That's Lons going for Galuzzi. Lons to the outside line. These two old rivals in SimRacingOnline, and that is a great move from Laurent Lons in the BMW, or is it? I think Galuzzi's coming back at him. This, of course, to be the fight to be best of the rest behind the 3 Porsches, it seems. And they're still side by side on the exit of turn 2. And I think Galuzzi's going to get ahead. So Galuzzi there, the top non-Porsche in that Toyota. In 2nd place, the Toyota 2000 GT, 4th place, sorry, not 2nd. And we've had a change for the lead. Talviti's dropped behind Jones, so Glyn Jones now leads the race, and Talviti is down to 2nd. Didn't see how that happened, but it has happened, and happened just off camera. So it's Jones followed by Talviti, Kirilov, Galuzzi, and Lons. Now Lons going back side by side with Galuzzi, going for it again. To the inside, is he in the braking zone? That's up at Kunos Statija, I think. And gets him on the exit. Well, they're still side by side, and we know that Porsche is very slippery through the air. Sorry, that Toyota. But, as there's slight contact with Van der Geest, Lons does get the move done. Now it's Van der Geest side by side with Galuzzi, and that is over 5th position. They've got the huge Mercedes just behind them as well of Kimi Martikainen. Oh, and look at that! Martikainen getting very, very sideways. And there was an Alpha there who had to take slight avoiding action. Oh, and Jonzo's going off into the banking. We've had our first casualty there. Mark Jonzo bouncing off the banking, and recovers in 17th place, I think. Do we still have all the cars running? I have to wait for them all to load in to see. Believe we might be missing. Actually, no, we do have all cars still running because there's Jose Branco. So yeah, we do still have all cars in the race. So very, very clean start. Great to see. And the race continues. Now Galuzzi, who's dropped back a little way in the last few corners, is under heavy attack from that heavy Mercedes. All kicking up the grass. That's Michal Mazurek behind them doing exactly the same thing. And who's that escort getting involved? That's Shabalaku, who I think just made up 2 places. Opportunistic driving from Laku to get involved in the fight. And down the straight. This track is alive with cars. 25 race cars. And such a variety of cars to choose from as well. Loboida side by side with Grukok. Grukok has the only Mustang in the field. Not the only Ford though. We saw the massive Fair Lady behind, and of course the Escort up in front. Grukok getting sideways, the Fairlane getting sideways as well of Upham. And Loboida is going to keep 12th place for the time being. Glyn Jones now fastest lap, trying to pull away from Talviti, but Talviti sets fastest lap, chasing him down. And fastest lap now comes in from Laurent Lund, so trading hands, which is what we like to see in the early stages of a race. Jones running slightly wide there. Talviti, this fight may not be over yet. Although actually Talviti dropping back slightly on the exit. Here's Kirilov in 3rd position. Number 1 on his car, which is a bit confusing because there's also number 1 on one of the Toyotas. Galuzzi has the number 1 on his car as well. So we do have some duplicate numbers in this field. Which is okay, I suppose, because they're such different cars, you're not going to be getting them muddled up. But anyway, so 5 minutes of this race, almost 6 minutes of this race gone already. Lagodin, oh, and a big spin, and that's the Fairlane, the Ford Fairlane of Zach Brumner, pointing backwards. And in the wall, it looks to me as if it just took too much grass and spun around. Number 43 on the side, Richard Petty style livery. Oh, and someone else going spinning in the background. That's Klaus Jorgensen in another Porsche. Kicks the car into gear and gets going, and still everyone in the race because Branco in the Cortina is rounding up the field. Back to the front, Kirilov a lot closer to Talviti. In fact, Talviti's now 3 seconds behind Jones. Jones has had a flyer of a lap here. Either that or Talviti's made a mistake or two. I think this has been a slightly inconsistent lap from Talviti, I'm sorry to say. And Lons has got right onto the back of them as well, so we've now got 3 for second, with the BMW of Lons getting involved. So, out through turn 2, and at the end of the first 5 minutes, it's Jones, Talviti, Kirilov, Lons, Van der Gies, Galuzzi, Laakkonen, Martikainen, Anstey and Lagardin, the top 10. And I'm not going to count how many different car makes there are in that, or car models, but I can imagine it's quite a lot, with the exception of the top 3. So, Porsche, BMW, and these 3 are now separated by less than a second. Look at the time tower on the left hand side. Change for 13th, Phil Brown's just got past Mariusz Leboida. And that's Upham fighting with Jonzer as well. Jonzer gaining the place back after his spin. And now Martikainen's lost a couple of places, so the Mercedes dropping. Majerot might be about to get him for 11th, but that means there's been a change in the top 10. Anstey's now up to 8th, Lagardin is up to 9th, and Grukok is up to 10th. So we've got the Mustang in the top 10 now. Grukok's made up quite a few places from his starting position, I think. If I remember correctly, that is. Just been asked if all of the cars are BOP'd. I don't think BOP was really a thing back then. So, I don't think so. Which could be why the Porsches seem the most competitive here. Yeah, there's not much in it, because we still have Laurent Lons and the BMW keeping up with them and actually challenging Kirilov a little bit there. But it may well be that at different tracks, it might suit different cars. Actually, I'm expecting Monaco to suit the cars with shorter wheelbases. Oh, as Lons so nearly gets through. Yeah, I'm expecting Monaco to suit the Hillman Imp a little bit, although of course the Imp a little bit down on power as well. Although, to be honest, it might still suit the Porsche, as Lons takes another look. Kirilov gives him the space. But the next corner's a left-hander, I think. Oh, and they bang wheels! No, the next corner's not a left-hander, my apologies, I'm still learning this track. They banged wheels slightly. Kirilov obviously not willing to give up the place that easily, and hangs it around the outside of Laurent Lons in the BMW. Grukok passing Lagardin. Lagardin appears to have made a slight mistake in that Mazda, gone to the inside. Here comes Phil Brown in the MG. Taking a look, but not quite there. Of course, Phil Brown recently won several races of the GT Legends Championship we did when he was in a Porsche. And a good move from Phil Brown again. Glenn Jones fastest lap. Now, I don't think you get points for fast lap, but I'll just check that just to make sure I haven't got that wrong. And Jones now leads the race by 3.4 seconds as it is. Van der Gies now getting involved in the fight for third. Look at that big lockup from Van der Gies in the rusty Escort. It looks to me as if Kirilov's dropping back a bit, and he's holding up Lons and Van der Gies in the process. Yeah, just to update you, there are no points for fastest lap or for pole position. But you do get points providing you finish the race in, I think, the top 23, but I'm not going to count those numbers right now. Pretty much means that if you finish the race, you're likely to score significant points, but anyway, not too much attrition so far, so I'm sure we'll see. Through the middle part of the course, Kirilov still holding off Lons. He's been holding that position nicely. As I was going to say though, I do think the Porsche, that Monaco may suit the Porsches because they're rear-engined, and of course that does help with turn-in and with handling. So again, I'm not sure it's quite as clear-cut as I made it sound before. Most of these cars, of course, are front-engined. The Porsche possibly being the only rear-engine one. Don't quote me on that, but possibly. Jonzo there, getting back past Mariusz Leboida in the Alpha. And that is over 15th place. Van der Gies there lapped significantly faster than Lons that last time around. So these three for third place, still very much in a fight of their own. Slight lock-up again from Bikernieki. Does appear to be a slightly difficult circuit to pass on. Not too many heavy braking zones, but then again, these cars don't really have that many heavy braking zones anyway, because they're not really going fast enough for that. I think turn 2, which is the first heavy braking, which is the first actual like braking zone, is probably a possibility, and also SimRacingOnline might also be, although SimRacingOnline, of course, which is the corner you're witnessing now, a little bit banked, meaning you can carry more speed through there than you expect, and that could hold attackers back slightly. Of course, apart from that, you really have to rely on your opponents making a mistake. Yeah, Mazurek's not really having a great day in that Alpha. I was saying earlier, I thought the Alpha would be really competitive, but not necessarily. Of course, we knew that. Oh, as we've seen, Upham's off in the background there, just rejoining the road in 16th place. But yeah, as I was going to say, Mazurek, usually a lot faster than this in single-seaters, although of course this is very much not a single-seater open-wheeler race car. So, who knows, I suppose. Into the final couple of corners of the lap, slidey goes the Porsche, and Galuzzi's now losing a place to Lacko, and he holds it on the inside. So Lacko, who's been catching him for a couple of laps, now right on the back of Galuzzi, and Galuzzi runs wide at turn 2, but has the inside line for the little kink on the exit. This layout of the circuit, known as the high-speed ring, there are other layouts of the Bikernieki circuit. Phil Brown there's just backing off, is he? I wonder if he... Well, it looks as if he just got past Lagodin and Martikainen, and I wonder if he thought he'd done it illegally, maybe, and backed off, because that looked a little bit weird. But now he appears to be under attack from Jonzo as well. Strange, but anyway, Martikainen now going up the inside of Lagodin, that's for 10th place, and the great big Mercedes is back into the top 10. I'm pretty sure, isn't that the version of the Mercedes that won the Spa 24 Hours? I may be wrong about that, but anyway, Phil Brown now up into 11th place. I know Mercedes did win the Spa 24 Hours with a massive car at some point, but I'm not entirely sure if it's exactly that model. Pretty sure they went rallying in this model of car, the AMG 300 SEL, but not entirely sure. Let me search it up actually. AMG 300 SEL. So have a look back at the top. Goodness me. Well, Talviti's dropped back a bit because now Kirilov, Lons, and Van der Geest are right on him, and they're about to lap the Cortina as well. The Cortina running last position still. Taking a lot of grass is Talviti, and I think he may be getting slightly held up. Yeah, that was not a good exit for Talviti. Here they go. And is Kirilov going to be able to try anything in the braking zone? I don't think so. In fact, he's going to come under more pressure from Lons here, who took a little look up the inside. Not close enough. And now Kirilov goes to second, so Kirilov makes the dive and overtakes Tony Talviti. He's through back into second position. Now what can Lons do about Talviti? They've got Van der Geest right on their tail as well, and Lakinen's just got Galuzzi. I think Galuzzi made a mistake because that's a lot of smoke there. And is that Anstey? No, that's not Anstey, that's a lapped Porsche, I think. But anyway, so Kirilov through to second, followed by Talviti, Lons, Van der Geest, and the next car back is Lakinen, who's recently got up into 6th position. Over a quarter of the race done now. Galuzzi is 7th, and it's Anstey, Grukok, and Martikainen, but Martikainen's still under attack from Brown, Lagodin, Jonzo, and Mazurek back there, so we've got a couple of big fights going on, and in fact I think Lagodin's being a little bit hampered there on the exit. dropping back behind Jonzo and Mazurek. I don't want to stop looking at this fight though, because third place is well and truly on. Could be second actually if Kirillov makes another mistake, but we'll see. Over the grass on the exit, kicking up the dust. And towards the middle part of the circuit, Van der Geest taking a look. Just posted the wrong thing, sorry. Getting a little bit distracted, but anyway. The lap times between this bunch, all very, very similar, because they just... Why have I copied that? Sorry, I'm trying to copy links and commentate at the same time, and it's going really, really wrong. Never commentate distracted, that's, yeah. Of course, ideally, I'd have a co-commentator to bounce off, but anyway. Jonzo has got back into 11th ahead of Phil Brown. Let's see what he can do about getting up into the top 10. Of course, it's not massively essential, since you don't have to finish in the top 10 to score points, and you pretty much get points if you finish the race. And ooh, contact. Looks like Lon's got a little bit sideways through turn 2 there, and Van der Geest gave him a slight tap up the back, making his escort look slightly rustier than it was before. And they both managed to keep it under control just about. Anyway, Jonzo now up ahead of Brown. Remember, he had that... Oh, as they lap the Cortina, that's a very, very slow moving car at the edge of the circuit. That could have been a lot worse if you hadn't seen him, but luckily he did. Now, it's Jonzo's turn to see if he can get up into the top 10. Chasing the Mercedes 300 SEL. And has appeared slightly quicker than it all throughout this race so far, so I think potentially could make a move, but we'll see. I'm still trying to look up to see if the AMG is the car that won the Spa 24 Hours. But anyway, Jonzo now under attack again from Brown there. This bunch, they just can't decide what positions they want to be in. Keep swapping around. Here's Van der Geest, still on the back of Lons. Lons made a mistake a lap ago and dropped a little bit back. But anyway. Apparently, so the Mercedes 300 SL, it was not originally intended for motorsports, but there were a few racing cars built. Finished second at the 24 Hours of Spa. Okay, my apologies. And that was in 1971. Okay, so that's what I was getting confused about. And that is the Cortina stopped at the side of the road. Possibly just waiting for people to go through, or possibly about to retire. Didn't appear to be running particularly well anyway. But anyway, stopped at the side of the road. Let's go back and see if anyone has actually dropped out of this race. The Ford Fairlane still running, despite having dropped down the order earlier on. Cheetah Morris still going. Andy Yates dropped back a bit from his qualifying position, didn't he? Klaus Jorgensen's in the pits in the Porsche, saw him having a little incident earlier on, and Jose Branco in the pits in the Cortina. So it does appear we do have, I think, 2 retirements so far. Zach Bremner now back up into the top 20 in the Ford Fairlane. Although having a little bit of an up and down day in what could potentially be the tallest car on the grid. Bouncy, bouncy through turn 1 for John Van der Geest there. I love how these guys spring. Oh, now who's that off the road? It's a Porsche, and it's Kirillov. So Kirillov's run off at turn 1, and that gives Talviti second place and Lons third place. They're just lapping one of the Porsches. So Kirillov down to 4th all of a sudden. And after making that move on Talviti earlier on, that's a bit of a shame there. But an easy mistake to make. As we approach the halfway point of this race, that has really brought the top four, well, the top five with the exception of Jones, who's leading, all together now. Talviti, Lons, Kirilov and Van der Geest, and those are the four you're looking at. Ignore the yellow Porsche further back, not entirely sure who that is. I think, could it be Jorgensen? Has he come out of the pits, maybe? I want to have a quick look at that, because I like to know who is actually in the race. It is indeed Jorgensen, so good to see Jorgensen has returned from the race. One thing to remember is that every car does need to make a mandatory pit stop and change all four tyres. So he could have just been doing that. I'm not sure he actually did have an incident or anything. Lauren Lund setting his personal best lap of the race there. Not quite fastest lap, I don't think, but it was close. Clearly he's got a bit between his teeth. He smells blood in the water. Oh, and another spin for Kirilov. He does not like that turn 2. Back behind John Van der Geest now. So the Rusty Escort is up into the top 4. Kirilov down to P5. And now Brown has got back past Johns over P11. I don't know what's going on with this bunch. But they're having a whale of a time, I presume. But yeah, Lons has got the bit between his teeth. He's going for that second position. He knows it's doable, as Paul Upham's had a little incident at the final turn there, running in 18th place. Now Lons is in the slipstream. Slipstream not hugely effective in these cars, but you can get a bit of it. And it's all about outbraking the car in front, probably into turn 2. That's your best chance. And if you can't, you really have to just settle in and wait for something to happen to the car in front of you. Keep putting them under pressure if you can, and that'll be your best bet of getting up a position. So the end of another lap, Talviti sets his personal best lap of the race. He senses Lons behind him, he knows he's there, he can see him in his mirrors. And once again, oh, and Phil Brown. Has his engine cut out or something like that? Well, he's got power, but he's dropping back. That was bizarre. Possibly just got a really bad exit to a corner, maybe had a quick spin or something, and he's coming into the pits. So I wonder if maybe his tyres went off? I wouldn't expect that. These are robust tyres, as he drives straight through the Mini Cooper. Luckily you can do that in the simulator. And Lons is up to second. My apologies, we missed it. But Lons is up into second position ahead of Tony Talviti. And that's the disadvantage of commentating a race without replays. But anyway, Laurent Lons up into second, Tony Talviti down into third. And earlier on when we saw Porsche's 1, 2, 3, I wasn't expecting to have Lons up into second at any point, except for maybe the pit stop strategies, the pit stop stages. But Lons is doing a great job in that BMW. So all of these cars, remember, still need to make a pit stop. Probably going to come in sometime soon. Do they come in this time around? No, they don't. I'm a little bit worried about that pit entry, actually. It just jinks off to the side of the road there. And if you're not careful, and if you don't know what the car in front of you is going to do, they could very much catch you off guard with their braking. Yeah, so they're going to need to be careful about that. But anyway, I'm sure they know that, and they'll have that in mind, sorry. Talviti still staying with Laurent Lons there, not letting him get away, as of course he shouldn't, because this is a scrap for the top 2 positions. They've actually just broken back into... They appear to be catching Jones quite quickly, actually. There's Jones, the yellow Porsche. Oh, and Lons has made a mistake. And Talviti's going to go back through into second place. So Lons there, we saw him getting slightly squirrely on the exit of the corner. Looks as if he may have just taken a bit too much curb, I think. Has dropped back down into third position. But yeah, as I was saying, they were actually catching Jones quite quickly. Now Majerak dropping a couple of places. Whoa, going off the road, and that's going to be a collision with the other Alpha of Mariusz Lebioda. And Lebioda, sorry. Lebioda touches the Armco, I think, and recovers in 15th position. It's a shame for all of those drivers involved. Puts Lagodin back up into 11th position. Still the leaders stay out, and I believe that's the Hillman Imp coming out of the pits there. Big backfire as they shift down. Not sure if you heard that, but yeah, that is the beautiful little Hillman Imp. It looks so surprised, doesn't it? It looks like it's just, I don't know, drunk 5 cups of coffee and just seen a ghost or something like that. Oh my goodness. So Talviti and Lons still battling, but Lons has to do it all over again. Sivertsen now up into 12th place. Haven't seen that much of him today, and that's because Jonzo's off the road. So Jonzo's been through the gravel. And slides it around as he tries to rejoin the race ahead of Michal Majerak. Thought Lons was going for it there. He was very close in terms of the times. But still settling for that third position. Well, not settling for it, but being stuck in that third position behind Talviti. Now what can he do about him in the pit stop stages? Will it be better to put those fresh tyres on sooner? Or will it be better to run later? One thing I've been wondering is about refueling, because you don't have to refuel as an Escort exits the pits. You don't have to refuel, but I'm not sure if these cars can actually do the full distance. I haven't asked any of the drivers about that, but if it's anything like the GT Legends Championship, then a lot of these won't be able to do the full distance, and as a result, it may be that they're running late so that they can, well, so because they started heavy on fuel, so they don't have to refuel as much, but not entirely sure about that. And I suppose that's one thing that we'll have to figure out as the season goes on. Kai Sivertsen into the pits from 13th position. Jonzo in from behind him. So those two making stops outside of the top 10, but I'm going to stick with the second and third battle because I do not want to miss anything more that happens. Missed too much already today. We're now over halfway through this race. And the order at the halfway point, it's Jones leading in the Porsche, followed by Talviti, Porsche, Lons, BMW, then Van der Geest Escort, Kirillov Porsche, just lapping an Escort. Then it's Lacker, Galuzzi, Anstey, Grukok, and Jones and Lons are in. So Jones in from the lead, Lons in from third, and Van der Geest is in as well in the Escort. So some important pit stops taking place. Let's see where they come out in relation to each other. Of course, they have to change all 4 tyres, and they can refuel. They don't have to, but they can. Jones still in the lead as he exits the pits. Lons is second. So no change in orders just yet. Anstey also in the pits, stopping. Oh my goodness, and that is how baby touring cars are made. And he's having to reverse into his box, so he missed his box and had to grab reverse. Now that won't have damaged his car because in the pit lane you are allowed to just phase through the car in front without picking up any damage. But yeah, that was a rather interesting sight. So, has Jones come out in clean air? Yes, he has. Lons gained a lot of time on him, actually. Two seconds between them now. This might not be over yet for the race win. But it all depends on where Talviti comes out in relation to them. If Talviti gains the same amount of time, he might end up jumping ahead of Jones here. Well, this is getting exciting. This is the tensest part of the race where everything starts to really pick up again. Especially since, as you can see, we've now got traffic involved. Now that car ahead is not traffic, that is Jones, who is the effective race leader, providing Talviti doesn't jump him in the pit stages. They still need to come in, of course. Sivitson there passing Darga. Not sure if Darga's made a stop yet. I know that Sivitson has. That's an interesting gaggle of cars. Upham going through in the BMW. And Phil Brown rocking the tail of them. And Phil Brown, of course, recently set his personal best lap of the race, so we know that he's flying. Probably wanted to get past this group, this gaggle, as fast as he possibly could, and he's just got past Chris Darga. Oh, sorry for the bang. As I presume that Darga will stop fairly soon. Let's look back at Jones, because it's important that he keeps putting the power down and making sure that Talviti doesn't jump him in the pit stages. It's currently, of course, Talviti in the lead of the race on the road, followed by Kirilov and Lacko, but it's not representative. Lacko actually under pressure from Galuzzi here. Now this is a fight for position, and that's because they've reached a lot of traffic. That's the Fairlane and the Imp there, who do not want to get out of the way of this bunch. Oh, look at that! They're going 3 wide! And up the inside goes Lacko as Talviti pits from the lead. I just want to watch this to make sure Galuzzi gets through cleanly, though. He's got past the Imp, and they both come into the pits. So Lacko and Galuzzi also into the pits, as is Talviti. Now this is important. Where does Talviti come out? Can he jump Jones? Jones is going through. What about Lons? Lons stays behind him. Just. It was close though. Look at Lons on the outside. He may still have a chance here on the exit. So Jones still effectively leads the race. I know that Kirilov leads it on the road, but he still needs to stop. Martikainen also in. Galuzzi also... Well, I said Galuzzi was in. But yeah, Martikainen in the Mercedes. And now this bunch have to lap the Imp and the Fairlane as well. Who's driving the Imp? Let me see if I can find that out. Well, Zach Bremner is driving and it's Jari Lakkinen in the Imp. Zach Bremner is in the Fairlane, just moving to the side to make sure he doesn't hold up Jones too much. Now Lons is picking up where he left off, trying to pass Talviti. He will be a little bit irked that he didn't jump him in the pit stages. That was obviously what he was intending to do. Couldn't quite make it stick. Now this traffic might help him, because of course Bremner and Lakkinen are fighting for position. They won't want to give up too much time to each other. And of course in SimRacingOnline there is no rule saying that you have to make way for your opponents, as Lakkinen and Ian just did gratefully. But you should hold your line, and your opponents need to find a clean way through. Into turn 2. Bremner runs wide. Does he split the two? No, he doesn't. Lons get through at the same time. That's important for Lons. Lagodin now pitting in the Mazda, and he's going to come out right in that mix of cars that he was fighting with before, I expect. Over the curb, over the hill. And that BMW isn't small, but look at the size of it compared to that Fairlane. Goodness me. I want to see a I want to see the Toyota side by side with the Mercedes or the Fairlane. Just see how that looks. I can imagine there'd be quite a size difference between the two of them. So Lons less than 0.8 of a second behind Talviti, chasing him hard as he has been for the majority of this race. We're back to a Porsche 1-2-3, although Kirilov of course still yet to stop, and Kirilov stays out for another lap. So that's not the effective order. Bill Garukok up into 6th position so far in the Mustang. He's doing a great job. Still think he's yet to stop, but yeah, he's doing a really good job in this race. Anyway, Jones locked up slightly. We've now got 1.5 seconds, less than that now, between him and Talviti. As I said, this race isn't over yet. Now Bill Garukok pits in the Mustang. He's been passed by Lackinen. Not sure that Mazurek's going to get through, although Garukok, I think, possibly struggling slightly to find his box there. Looked a little bit slow in. Well, Mazurek's into the pits anyway, so Mazurek will not get past Garukok, or at least not in the effective order. Garukok puts the power down. Through goes Martikainen, but I think Garukok... No, he's not quite out in the top 10. Now who's that going side by side? Sivertson and Brown. Ooh, and is there contact? I think they might have slightly touched that. They're right on the back of Lebioda as well. Lebioda doing a good job to recover from his spin, but still also yet to stop. This is cracking racing. I absolutely love the variety of cars. Talviti now within 0.8 of a second of our effective leader. It's getting so close for that, well, it's second place at the minute, but it could be the win of the race. Jones versus Talviti, and Talviti sets a 1:34.738. That is the fastest lap of the race. And sideways goes Jones. He holds it, but Talviti was so nearly able to get side by side with him there. Lon's also making a mistake in the background. He's dropping back. And now we have a dogfight on between the two Porsches. We've got traffic coming up as well. I think that's Christian Darger in the Renault. The Alpine, rather. Well, Renault Alpine, but you know what I mean. Jones and Talviti scrapping it out. Now, do they get past Darger cleanly and quickly? Well, not yet anyway. I'd expect Darger to possibly let them through on this straight. Yep. Does he split them? No, he doesn't. Talviti goes through. Now, Talviti will really be feeling like a hunter at this point in time, as we're into the last 20 minutes of the race, the last third. Sivertson now up into the top 10. He's past Brown. Brown fighting with... No, that is Sivertson, sorry. Back to the race leaders. Interesting that Kirilov's left it so late to stop. Hopefully he knows he has to make a pit stop. I presume he does. If he doesn't, then that's on him. But anyway. Less than half a second, and Talviti's lap was faster than Jones's. I reckon we might be able to see a move on this lap if Talviti keeps it cool. Doesn't lose his head in the process. Lon's trying to pass Darger in the background. Does it nicely. Lebioda's dropping back. Lebioda's just had a little off. So, Brown up into 9th. Sivertson up into 10th. And Garukok up into 11th. And over the grass goes Jones. This could be Talviti's chance. They're side by side for the lead of the race. Talviti will have the outside line, but makes it stick in the braking zone. So Talviti now effectively leads the race. He has got past Glenn Jones in An opportunistic manoeuvre. I told you I thought the move might happen this lap, and it did. Lebioda now into the pits from 13th place. But yeah, a move has been made for what will effectively be the lead of the race. Still, we need Kirilov to pit. But anyway, so Talviti, Jones, Lons, and then Kirilov, I think, will be the order, unless Van der Geest is able to jump Kirilov. But it all remains very uncertain until Kirilov actually makes his stop. Kirilov stays out for another lap. I am starting to worry about whether he actually knows he's going to have to make a stop or not. It's in the rules. They voted 10-2 to include a mandatory pit stop for all 4 tyres. But anyway, Jones there kicking out the tail again. He really... I'm wondering if that's not a good corner for the Porsches, because you've seen, we saw earlier Kirilov making mistakes at that turn. And now Jones has made a few as well. Possibly tough on the Porsche's rear engine layout. Does the Renault Alpine have a... Is it rear engined? I don't think it is. No, it's not. My apologies. So yeah, I think the Porsche is probably the only rear-engined car in this race. Unless I'm very much mistaken. By rear-engine, I think I should technically... Actually, wait a minute, am I doing something completely wrong? Now, surely Porsches have always been mid-engined, right? Okay, sorry. Don't know what's got into me today, but yeah, indeed, the Porsche it's surely rear-engine. But anyway, mid-engined because it's in front of the rear axle rather than sitting on top of it. No, I think it is rear-engined because looking at where the rear axle is. Sorry for the confusion. Anyway, I'm just having a bit of a dopey day. So, still, Kirilov stays out. 16 minutes remaining in this race. Talviti is second. Jones is third. Then it's Lons and Van der Geest. Kicking up the grass again, go Jones and Talviti. Just about to lap. That's an Escort they've lapped before. Putting it a lap down a second time. Let's do a check on everyone in the race. See if we've had any more retirements that I haven't mentioned. Of course, the only one so far has been Mark Jonzo retired, so that was one of the Porsches. Shame for Jonzo. The only other retirement, of course, was the Cortina. So yeah, 2 retirements so far, but it's been a remarkably clean race. Oh, and just as I say that, I may have cursed it, because Sivitson's been swung into the wall. Don't know quite how that happened, whether he made contact with Lagodin or not. I think he was fighting with Lagodin. No, he was actually fighting with Grukok. Lagodin was a little way back. So maybe he touched. And Kirilov is in the pits. So Kirilov is finally in the pits. Stops it in the box, and Talviti takes the lead properly. Talviti leads. Jones second. Lons third. Van der Geest fourth. And I think Kirilov will get out ahead of Lackinen. Yes, he does. Not Lackinen, sorry, Lacko. I always get those two muddled up. Martikainen, we haven't seen the Mercedes in a long time, but he's just passed Phil Brown, so he's got up into 8th position now. Sliding the tail out. That is great to see you. And these two have been fighting for pretty much the entire race. They're pretty much evenly matched. In the GT Legends Championship, Phil Brown definitely had the upper hand over Martikainen. But of course they're in different cars now. Well, they were in different cars to each other back then, of course, as well, but yeah. And it seems that they are much more evenly matched than they were before. Big lock-up from Brown. Did well not to go ploughing into the back of the Mercedes there. I think I know who would have come off worse in that one. And it wouldn't have been the Mercedes. Now Lons back within... Lons is now within 9/10 of a second of Jones. So Jones really started dropping back in the latter stages of this race. And yeah, John's now within half a second of him. Fastest personal best lap for Lons there. So he's going for it. Sees that yellow Porsche up ahead of him as a great target, and Jones is going to run wide. Slightly. It's not a corner he likes. And Lons gets a much better exit. Out towards the back part of the circuit, the... what's this next one called again? Tilts. Interesting name for a corner, but yeah, that's the Tilts curve. I was going to say, actually, I was saying earlier on, this is the high-speed ring, although there are actually other layouts of the ring. They have the ring of skill, which turns left, turns left after the kink after turn 2 and wiggles off through the hills. You have the big ring, which uses both parts of the circuit, the outer ring, if you could say. I also have the short, almost oval circuit, which turns off at tilts and goes straight back to Seiler at the final corner. And then you have a little cut circle on the inside of the start-finish straight as well. So those are all of the layouts that get used. And Lons is now side by side with Jones, and Jones is spinning! Jones is off into the grass! Now, I didn't see how that happened, so I was distracted. It looks as if Lons went to the outside of Jones, and then Jones just lost control, and there was a backmarker in that as well, who came right across on Lons and forced him onto the grass. That was a tense few corners. And there's the backmarker, and it was Klaus Jorgensen, who I think saw one car going one way and the other going the other way and didn't quite know what to do with it. But that means that John van der Geest in the Escort is now up into 3rd position. So we now have 3 different car models in the top 3. Porsche, BMW, Ford Escort. And that shows you that we don't really need BOP at this point in the series. Maybe nerf the Porsches a little bit, but a lot of the other cars seem very evenly matched. I do feel that some drivers are going to be blaming their cars after this, though. I've certainly been a little bit disappointed by the Alpha GTAs. They've got good drivers, but not really that much pace. But yeah, great to see 3 different models in the top 3: Talviti, Lons, and Van der Geest. I'm not saying the drivers are models, but you know what I mean. Models of car. Now, what can Lagodin do about getting into the top 10? He's in a close fight. Oh, and there's contact with Siverton, and Siverton's going into the wall again! Bang! That was a big impact, and that would have hurt. If that was real life, I would predict quite a bit of whiplash from that. He went into the tyre wall before he went into the concrete wall as well, and he's now down in 14th position. Slight suspension damage, not too bad. But yeah, that's going to have knocked his confidence a bit. Phil Brown has now got back past Martikainen in this fight for 8th place. Martikainen coming straight back through, is he? Through the S's. Not there. It's been a great clean race between the two of them though. Martikainen back on the inside. Brown sees him. I'm glad Brown saw him there. Ooh, and they slight... I'm not sure if they did touch or not there. May have been a slight tap. Aaron across the start-finish line. Final 9 minutes of this race. Not much time left to go, and Martikainen's going back to the inside, and Brown covers him off. And Martikainen runs wide and over the gravel. Brown locks up. and runs wide again. I don't think this is over yet. Martikainen might be feeling a little bit aggrieved. Oh, as Lagodin gets up into the top 10. He's past Grewcock. That's a nice sounding master. Is that a rotary engine? I think that may be a rotary there in the RX-3. Oh, and I think I just saw Martikainen getting sideways. I did! So Martikainen's had a half spin. He's been off into the grass. Recovers, but he's lost... Well, it looks as if that battle with him and Brown might be over for good now. And he may end up being under attack from Lagodin. I believe, ooh, Mazda RX cars rotaries. Is that what the R stands for? Maybe getting that completely wrong, but anyway. Hello to Sierra Mike in the YouTube chat saying, awesome, you guys always drive the coolest content, 100%. Absolutely, these cars are absolutely fantastic. I love the variety available. And just the fact there are so many iconic touring cars in this series. Look at this, for example, the Alpha GT8. Michal Majerek chasing down Paul Anstey in the Toyota 2000 GT. You don't really get a finer selection of 60s and 70s touring cars than that, do you? All of these cars, of course, either from the 60s or 70s. Interestingly, there are a few cars that could have been used that aren't being used, including the Austin Healey, the Jaguar Mark II, that would have been cool to see, the MGA Race, and the Mini Cooper. Shame not to see any minis here. But maybe if other people come into the championship later on, those cars may make appearances. We also may have other cars that are available now which might drop out due to drivers not wanting to drive them anymore, but that's okay. That we will still have a big variety of cars available, I'm sure. Because there's only a limited number of each car for people to drive. Otherwise, I can imagine a lot of people would have gone straight for the Porsche, or at least they'd be queuing up to drive a Porsche at the next round now. But anyway, so this is the fight for 12th position. We've also got, it's relatively close to for 9th place. And that's because Martikainen's continuing to drop back a little bit, and he's under attack now from the rotary-powered Mazda of Stefan Lagodin. Oh, and thanks to Sierra Mike, he says, and great broadcast also. I really appreciate that. I like bringing this to you, and I am very much enjoying this league so far. Just going to search up Mazda RX-3 to see if it is a rotary engine, and if I'm not getting it completely wrong, but anyway. The Mazda RX-3 was also called the Mazda Grand Familia, apparently. And it was marketed as the Mazda 808, 818, Mazda Miser, Mazda Savannah, Kia Brisa 2, and the Kia K303. That's a lot of names for one little car. Wow. Apparently export markets regularly take the model as a Mazda RX-3, but anyway. Yes, it does appear that there were versions made with a rotary engine, so I'm pretty sure that that's what we're looking at now. There was also a version with an inline 4, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is the rotary. So, out towards the end of another lap, not much time left to go, just under 4 minutes left in this race. And it seems to have settled a little bit, aside from this fight for 9th place between Martikainen and Lagodin. Mercedes runs wide. That, of course, is the Mercedes that finished second at the Spa 24 Hours. And the Mazda behind, I think, was popular with hill climbs and rallies, if I remember correctly. Grukok and Anstey also fighting over that 11th place behind them. I'll try to keep half an eye on that, as I'm also keeping an eye on the fight inside the top 10. But yeah. So less than 3 minutes to go. The race is drawing to a close. Oh, and the Mustang got sideways there. Bill Grukok got a little bit shaky. Anstey up the inside in the Toyota. Doesn't quite brake later. Does Grukok keep it within the lines? Just about. He uses all of the curb. And they're still side by side on the exit. You'd expect the muscle car to have the legs here. Ooh, and that's tight. And they bang doors. And they're somehow still side by side. Now Mazurek's the Alpha behind them. Anstey back to the inside. Not quite there. The outside now. He's still trying to keep an overlap. Oh, and Grukok gets slithery. Grukok out and over the curbs, and that's going to give Mazurek a chance. So Anstey now up into 11th place. Here comes Mazurek. This for 12th. Oh, and touches him. And goes off into the gravel. Just misjudged that a little bit, did Mazurek, in my opinion. But it's tough to tell. Anstey there. Well, they're back side by side. I reckon Anstey may have given that place back. I think he felt responsible for what happened to Grukok at the final turn. Maybe there was a slight bit of contact. But anyway, Grukok now back through into 11th place, and that's sporting from Anstey. And while all of that is going on, still Martikainen's fighting Lagodin. So, although it seems relatively stable up front, still there are fights in the top 10 and the top 15. In fact, talking of the top 15, Lebioda, is trying to get into the top 15 behind Sivertson. But right now we must watch these two, Martikainen and Lagodin, who are now back within half a second of each other. I believe next lap's going to be the final lap, not for this lot, but for the leader, Tony Talviti. Just looking at where he is on the track. Yeah, because the timer, it's got half a minute to go now, and I think he will cross the start-finish line before then. Pretty sure he will anyway. Just wanna... Yeah, there's going to be another lap here, because he's in the final corner now with 20 seconds to go. So here we go now, onto the final lap of the race with Tony Talviti. And I'm going to switch away quickly just to make sure we don't miss anything, but I will make sure that I don't miss Talviti crossing the line to win the race. Oh! And that is a very damaged Renault. She's trying to... Oh, it's Andy Yates who hasn't had the best of days, and he is now parking it, and I reckon he might well be out of the race after that. Kirilov now is caught up to Jones, so I think Jones made a mistake on the last lap, maybe. Or on the penultimate lap. Because I wasn't expecting Kirilov to be that close to him, but yeah, that could still be a change for 4th place, maybe. On the final lap of the race. Let's keep watching Kirilov for as long as we can get away with. Through the S's they go into... Oh, and he's touched the wall! Kirilov's touched the wall! He's going to spin! Does he keep it out to the wall again? He does, and that's a great save from Kirilov, but that's his last chance of getting 4th over. Now don't worry about that car behind, that's the Hillman Imp, so that is a lap down. But yeah, that's his chance of that position over. Anyway, into the final sector heads Tony Talviti. He's quick in prototypes, he's quick in GTs, he's quick in single-seaters, and obviously he's quick in classic Porsches as well. Tony Talviti through the final corner, and he is going to win the first round of the TCR Legends Championship. at Bikernieki in Latvia. Tony Talviti wins the race, well deserved. Phil Brown's had an incident in the MGB. I wonder if he's run out of fuel maybe. Lauren Lons is second place. That's a shame for Brown, he's dropped out of the top 10 with that. John Van de Gee's third position in that brilliantly liveried, beaten up Ford Escort. Glyn Jones is fourth in the Bumblebee. Kirillov is going to be fifth after that final lap mistake. Shabalako drove a bit of a quiet race in the end, but did a good job to be the first with the top Ford Escort. Crossing the line now. Then you've got Galuzzi, who will be 7th in the Toyota. I was impressed by him today. He's just got a few corners to go in this lap as well. Mazurek might still get Grukok here for 11th, but let's look at that actually. Anstey, Grukok and Mazurek still relatively close for 10th, 11th and 12th. So Galuzzi's just finished 7th. Is going to be Kimi Martikainen in the giant Mercedes, who's going to finish 8th. Stefan Lagodin will be 9th. And then it's this scrap. Oh! And Anstey's pulling off. Well, I don't know what happened to Anstey there. And look at that, side by side. And Grukok got sideways. I think Anstey's run out of fuel. Yeah, Anstey's run out of fuel. He's just trying to coast to the flag, and that's why he wanted to get off the racing line, because he wanted to... Oh, I'm not sure he's going to finish. He's going to need to get a push from someone there. Yeah, that's why he got off the racing line. He didn't want to get hit from behind. So Martikainen is 8th, then it's Lagodin, who's had a spin after the line in the Mazda. Michal Mazurek was 10th, Bill Grukok 11th, Anstey I think will be classified 12th, then it's Phil Brown, who will I think be classified 13th, Tudor Morris, Kai Sivertson, Mariusz Leboidet, Paul Upham, Christian Dauger, Sid Drake in the Datsun 510, which we barely saw sadly, doing some donuts after the line. Zach Bremner in the Ford Fairlane, huge car. And then I think everyone after that may have been retirements. Jari Lakkinen he did finish in the Hillman Imp. Andy Yates almost did, but had that incident in the late stages in the Alpine A110. Then it was Klaus Jorgensen, Mark Jonzo and Jose Branco. Anyway, that is the end of the race and the end of today's racing action. There you see your winner, Tony Talviti in the number 2 Porsche, who will lead the championship heading on to next round at the classic 1975 version of the Interlagos Grand Prix circuit. Anyway, join us then. It's going to be in... Let me just check the times. Oh, I've just closed the site by accident. Okay, my apologies. It'll be the same time in, I think, 2 weeks, but I'm just going to double check, because sometimes we do weekly events, so I just want to make sure that I'm not getting that absolutely wrong. I'll be with you in a second, but anyway, great drive there from Tony Talviti. He recently won a DTM race with us as well. He won race 2 at the Red Bull Ring. And this won plenty of races with us in the past. Came second in the Corvette GT2 class at Portland the other day. I won that, incidentally. Just putting that out there. And aside from that, okay, right, now we have it open. Yes, 2 weeks time, July the 23rd is going to be round 2 at the same time, 8 PM British summertime. So join us then. I'm glad that you enjoyed this broadcast, or at least I hope you enjoyed this broadcast. And if you did, it would be great to see you back again. Anyway, good night.